Hi Philima, my name is Aksum Teklu. I'm from Denver, Colorado, but I currently live in Houston, Texas. And currently I serve on the Tigray Communities Forum Board as secretary. I was a previous board member of the TPN TEGARU Professionals Network national team. And I'm one of the co-organizers of Wa'ala Tigray 2022 in Chicago, Illinois. So Wa'ala Tigray, it's an annual conference every year. We select a host city where there's a concentrated amount of Tigrayans. And the goal is to build a community center in different cities across the United States and even Canada, just so that we can make this idea, this dream of Little Tigray come true. And of course there's benefits. You know, if we're stronger, united, you know, we could have separate communities that are strong, but once we're united together, we're a completely different force. We have a stronger voice, a bigger voice in government with elected officials. Obviously, right now with the Tigray genocide, with the war on our people, imagine if we had strong communities everywhere already in place. We would have had a head start in our advocacy work to fight for our people. But that's okay. That's why we're here in Chicago. It's never too late. While we have TDF and the people of Tigray fighting, surviving back home, this is another form of advocacy, strengthening our communities so that we can advocate for the diaspora here, but also when it's needed, we have the power to advocate for TEGARU back home. Which is what a lot of advocacy groups are doing. But we're here in Chicago fundraising for the Tigray community of Illinois, and all the funds will be given to the community to build a community center. And so far it's been a great success.
All right. Looking back in 2019, I know preparing an event is not an easy job. And do you think it gets better as you go? Like comparing 2019 and 2022? Like the challenge that we went through. I know 2019, I was a little bit involved, and this year too. So what is your assessment?
We've definitely, with time, it gets better. 2019 was our very first Wa'ala Tigray in Denver, Colorado, and it wasn't easy. We had to learn a lot of things for the first time doing a big event. And we took the lessons, we had a lot of lessons from Denver, and we are applying them to Chicago, trying not to make the same mistakes. So I think Chicago, even though it was still tough, event planning for 3 days, full 3 days, we learned from our mistakes. We're trying to get better every time, working with the local community in Chicago, working with even TEGARU from outside of Chicago who were willing to volunteer because they believe in the vision of Little Tigray, because a community center in Chicago also helps Las Vegas, DMV, Denver, Seattle, Boston. So it was just the team effort. You know, communities can't do it alone. So even with time, more people also believing in the vision, so more people coming and assisting as well. You know, we can never have enough help. So if you're interested, even just one item can just
contribute.
Can contribute to Wa'ala Tigray, to the progress. So even if it's 1 hour. So with time, it's definitely been better, and I hope next year we're gonna have learn more lessons, and next year it'll be a little easier.
Hi, my name is Aziza Mustafa. I'm originally from Denver, Colorado, but I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I serve on the Tigray Communities Forum of North America. And my position is the treasurer, and I am a co-organizer with Aksum Teklu. So we've been planning Wa'ala this year.
Okay, I would say you're the new face to the Wa'ala.
Yes.
I have seen you personally for the last 5 months.
Yes.
All these phone calls.
Yes.
And I want to personally thank you for doing this. I mean, it's not an easy job.
No problem.
Trust me. how do you actually, like, how do you get involved in Wa'ala?
I would say I first started with TEGARU Professionals Network in Atlanta, TPN. We started our first chapter there. I was on the first board. I was the chair of our first board in Atlanta, and so doing my leadership position in Atlanta for a year, I think, is what prepared me for Wa'ala. And so after serving on the board for a year there, Mr. Mulugeta approached me and recruited me to be on the forum, and I happily accepted, and I knew that I could do something for our community with the help of Aksum and Mabra, Hayalom, and Sunday, and so many others that have come before me. And so that's why I think being a part of Wa'ala hasn't been too difficult, because I've been a part of the community through TPN.
So what are the missions of Wa'ala that really, really appealing to you? Like, what is like attracts you?
What I love about Wa'ala is that it's diaspora based. What can we do here in America to really build ourselves and strengthen ourselves? I think growing up here, we've always found challenges, like it's difficult to get through high school, get to college, get to your master's, and then once you're finished with school, if you didn't do a good job building your network, you end up coming back to your community that raised you, right? And what do we have for our youth? And so we're here to build that and create something for our communities. I'm a strong believer in you have to build the life that you want to see. It's not just going to come to you. And so in order to do that, we've got to do the work. And Aksum and I, we're first generation. Our parents both went through Sudan. They came to America, and we know what it's like for them. And we have very similar backgrounds. And so growing up here in the States, we know what it's like to go through the American system, right? And we see our next generation going through it. And so we think it's really important to build ourselves through our education, our jobs, socially. We think mental health is really important, and really just building a community with each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the last 15 years, so many communities actually trying to get the youngsters to be a leader, to take over. And that hasn't been an easy job, an easy task. It could be from the leaders that they haven't actually done their job, or it could be from the youngsters that are not actually taking over. Like, what would be, is it a bridge, what is the disconnect, the two generations trying to come together, and what would be your message for those who actually got intimidated to take over this job or this responsibility?
It's really hard. That's actually a great question. I don't know if we have the answer and we've actually solved it yet. We're still trying to work that and build that bridge right there. And we also have to give ourselves grace and be kind to ourselves. We're all new to America. All of our parents came here in the 80s and 90s. We're not as established as other immigrant communities in the United States, right? So we have to give ourselves that grace and that time to build ourselves. And it starts with people like us. We know what it's like for our families to go from Tigray to Sudan or wherever else they went to America. And so we're growing up with our parents. I feel like our parents, a lot of them were very young when they came to America. So we all grew up together, and now we're adults. And so we're trying to do our best and really bridge the gap. And if there's someone in the community that's feeling intimidated or uncomfortable with the community, that's okay. That is totally valid. I invite them to come back. Let's have a discussion and let's start over. And I feel like that's how we can build community.
So when we're doing this Wa'ala, the Tigray genocide is almost 600 days now.
Yeah.
So for some people might feel a little bit disconnected when our people are actually suffering. Some people think we are actually having fun here. Is it a disconnect, or is it similarities that we've been doing for the last 2 years activism? What is the correlation between this and what people are suffering back home?
That's a really good question. Trying to figure out how to answer this. Well, I feel like what we're doing in the diaspora, we're not having fun. We're really trying to do a lot of advocacy, getting involved with our elected officials here. There's a lot of behind the scene work that we do. I think what people may see on social media is just the dancing and the partying. But joy is also active resistance, so it's okay to smile, it's okay to be happy. We only have each other, and we have to take care of ourselves. So in order to show up for our families in Tigray, we have to show up for each other here. And so it's important to take care of ourselves. We've got to eat, we've got to take care of our mental health, we've got to exercise. We have to live our lives still, and still advocate for our families. So I think they can go side by side.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Felima, for the hard work that you've been doing over the years, covering content, media, supporting TEGARUs all across North America. And once again, you're here supporting us, documenting. We are here for Wa'ala Tigray, Chicago 2022. And again, we are back with the Tigray Communities Forum North America, the TEGARU Professionals Network, to help build funds for the local Illinois community. And so far it's been really, really great. Again, we kicked off Friday with Youth Night. We had a fashion show. We had some speakers, panelists as well. And even on Thursday night, we also had a little mixer, a get-together for some of our TEGARU professionals. And it was absolutely amazing. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, seeing 2019 in Denver, I know I know you guys how do you work. But do you see similarities or a little bit different in here in Chicago?
Well, there's both. Similarities as far as like actively recruiting people, getting them to serve, to volunteer, can be very challenging. But based on our experience in Denver for 2019, we try to do our best to plan ahead and get really acclimated with the local community. This has been it's been a little bigger just because it's the second round.
Yeah.
And plus we've been trying to do this for the past 2 years.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we had a pandemic of COVID-19, so we canceled it. So this is the first time we're finally coming together,
Wow.
seeing each other, so it's awesome.
I guess my follow-up question to that is, all this promotion, all this live videos on Instagram in different platforms, do you think that works?
100%.
Okay.
100%, bro. Everybody's asking us, they want to know where the venue is, where they staying, what's the deal, what's the best flight. And for us to market and to go live, to tap into our different bases, if we do, Facebook, TMH, we have our strong Tigrinya speaking audience. If we go on Instagram, we have more of our younger, TEGARU diaspora audience, and that brings them here. There's many people on our live sessions that asked about it. There's people who have made marketing materials such as yourself, Falma ENT. Please follow them. They see that. They want to know what is Wa'ala, what is it about, It's about building up the local community here.
Right.
We're very fortunate to be in a country where we have access to media, internet, aid, So it's up to us to continue to advocate for our people. So we're not going to drop the ball here.
So my question on the next question is, for the last 5 months, I know those sleepless nights, those phone calls, conference call. What would be your message to those who are actually involved in this, and include yourself?
Yeah, I think for the people involved, especially for myself, it means so much more than just trying to get an event together. It's about building relationships with people, working hard together on the battlefield, on the front lines, advocating, begging people to join the calls, begging people to cook this or make this flyer or tell everybody to come, it's a lot of hard work. We don't do this for money. This is volunteer work, but we do it because we have a passion for our people, especially during this time. So the people who are involved, keep it up, don't stop. After this, we'll take a little bit of break and regroup.
So my final question is, I know Chicago had so many challenges.
Oh yeah.
Finding a hall. I mean, there's so many things that, because it's a little bit smaller than Denver. What would be your message to them, to those who they're holding it down? At the end, they find the best hall, the best hotel. I mean, the service is actually good. What would be your message to them, especially for the youngsters?
For the youngsters in Chicago, I know it was hard to get this off the ground, but as you can see, it's a success and it's working. And after this, I want you guys to be encouraged to continue to stay active, to get involved, to make sure you guys collect all these funds to build on a plot of land. That's the whole point for this, because we want you guys to have a place where you can go to have Tigrinya classes, to have hangout classes, just somewhere where you can go and talk, because
something you own.
Yeah, something of our own. This is the big city, this is a big community. And the best part about this is that you learn about other cities and other communities, strengths, weaknesses, areas of improvement, so yeah.
I can understand people, they feel that there's a disconnect with Wa'ala Tigray and what's going on with back home. Maybe there's a lot of people who think all of our focus should be on Tigray. All of our money should go to Tigray. But what I want everyone to understand is the money that we're investing in our communities here does go back to Tigray. It's the long-term goal that we have to set for ourselves. Imagine we have strengthened communities. We're sharing resources with each other. That's the vision, right? If the community in Dallas is doing well, let's say they're doing fantastic, and the community in Kentucky needs some help. Are they connected? Can they help each other? Can they share knowledge with each other? That is the vision for Wa'ala. And if we can create that strong network of sharing knowledge, sharing resources, what works for fundraising in local communities, what works for fundraising for Tigray, for Mekete, what worked in Dallas, or who was the top fundraiser, what worked for them? Are we sharing this knowledge with each other? Do we have these connections? Are we meeting with each other? That's the hope for Wa'ala. It's, we're focusing on the diaspora, but also Tigray is in our hearts. It's our home. It's our priority right now. So everything we're doing here, it is for Tigray. So strong communities here means better advocacy, better resources, faster, more efficient fundraising, everything for Tigray. So Wa'ala Tigray is Tigray. Tigray is us. We are Tigray. So I hope everyone can see that vision. If you didn't come this year, we hope that you get involved in different events coming up, and Wa'ala Tigray next year in the next city, which will be revealed soon. To the volunteers of Wa'ala Tigray, which includes the Tigray community of Illinois, which includes their board. Specifically, I want to shout out the chairman, Mr. Yamane Mekonnen. He has done so amazing these past few months, but with Mr. Yamane and the entire board and the entire community, I want to thank them for hosting us, for having us in their city. They've been wonderful hosts. And then also all the youth in Chicago, TPN Chicago, all the youth outside. We've had, so far for youth night, for TPN night, for the entire weekend, we have involvement from people everywhere. So I want to thank them for believing in us, for participating, for contributing in their different ways. We want to thank the vendors that are all here, all the TEGARU-owned businesses. We are so happy to have them here. We have to keep our money in Tigray communities, so we've got to uplift our businesses. So we thank all of our vendors, of course, all of our sponsors who made this event happen, and of course the Tigray Communities Forum Board, those leaders, all the community leaders, of course the media. There's so many Tigrayan-owned media who have supported Wa'ala Tigray, promoted Wa'ala Tigray.